If you've been broken up with, dumped, or even discarded by an avoidant, you might be wondering to yourself, will this person ever come back? Will my avoidant ex regret what they did and come back and try to rekindle the relationship? The answer is possibly. There are no guarantees. Some do, some don't. And be wary of anybody that promises or guarantees that your avoidant ex will come back, that they can get your ex back, because there are no guarantees. That said, if you are a kind, consistent, loving partner and you didn't do anything crazy during the breakup, there is a chance they might come back, especially if no contact is used. It is not uncommon for an avoidant to come back, but keep in mind, this is a person that avoids. You thought you had a wonderful, loving relationship and everything felt great, that you got it right. You met your twin flame. You met your soulmate even. And suddenly it's over. And this person is giving you little to no explanation as to why the relationship has to end. They're giving you vague excuses like, I can't give you what you need. I'm just not ready for a relationship. Work is just too busy right now. Completely shut down and showed you no empathy out the door. Those are things to consider. The reason no contact works for this person so well is that initially, when the avoidant ends the relationship, they feel a sense of relief, because being in a relationship is a net source of stress for an avoidant, because they feel pressure to be vulnerable, pressure to be emotionally available, pressure to give something of themselves to their partner. Well, when you're not reaching out, you're not chasing, you're not pleading, you're not begging, you are helping them feel safe because there's no longer pressure. So over the course of time, they can allow themselves to unbury those emotions, those feelings that they have for you, and allow themselves to actually miss you. And this can be the point where they do reach out and try to reconnect in some capacity. Sometimes it's just in the form of breadcrumbing, where they're giving out little clues, liking your Facebook posts, maybe sending a how you doing text, things like that. When they're doing this, they're just looking for validation. They just want to know that you still want them and that you're still an available option to them. Sometimes they can reach out in a more meaningful way, but the most likely way is breadcrumbing. And then when you take the bait, they might try to take it a step further, or they might disappear again because they got the validation and now they can go back into hiding. Because keep in mind, when they're triggered, their tendency is to avoid. It's their instinct, it's their attachment style. And it goes back to childhood emotional neglect. This is a person that experienced consistent neglect as a child, often growing up in a stable household, but where you don't talk about feelings. And their emotions were routinely dismissed. They weren't able to express themselves. They had to figure out how to deal with emotions and life stress on their own. So what they learned to do is to just suppress it, avoid it, not deal with it, stick their head in the sand like an ostrich, and just not face anything unpleasant or any unpleasant emotions. And due to the lack of love and affection that they received as a child, they personalized it. They grew up to feel unlovable, defective, like there's something wrong with them. And they also learned that if you rely on anybody for your emotional needs, like your parents or your caretakers, you're gonna get disappointed, hurt, rejected, and possibly even abandoned. So they learn to associate emotional closeness with rejection and abandonment. And they fear being vulnerable because if they let their walls down, their fear is that their partner will figure out that they're defective and reject and abandon them. So emotional intimacy does not feel safe for them. So when things get closer and better and everything's going wonderfully, that triggers their fears and they can shut down, deactivate, and completely discard a partner. Deactivation is likely what happened before they ended the relationship. They took their feelings for their partner, for you, suppressed them, buried them. They didn't allow themselves to access their feelings. That's how they learned to keep themselves safe, by avoiding those emotions and avoiding dealing with anything that's difficult or uncomfortable for them. And this results in a very cold demeanor, a lack of empathy, and very vague excuses, because again, they avoid, and they're avoiding those emotions, avoiding self-reflection, avoiding all of it. So it's very difficult for them to give a coherent answer when they're avoiding reflecting on the things going on within them. But when they feel safe, they often do try to come back. They miss the validation, they miss the attention they got from you, they miss spending time with you, they miss the connection. But if this person is not working on themselves, and especially if they're a dismissive avoidant, the missing you is more about them missing how you made them feel, not necessarily missing you, the person, in the sense of how did I impact you? How did I make you feel? How are you hurt? It's more of the what you'd give to me kind of thing. Because they were never shown how to process emotions and they had to fend for themselves, they learned to be very self-focused, self-absorbed, and actually selfish. Considering the needs, wants, or feelings of another person is not something that comes naturally to them. Now, you may be tempted to give this person another chance. If you decide to do so, it's certainly within your rights. But if this person is not taking full accountability, if they're not taking true ownership of the way that they hurt you, the way that they discarded you, the hurt that they caused you, they're not taking accountability for their attachment wounds, the way they self-sabotage the relationship, if they're not taking action to heal and to get better and to become more secure, like therapy, books, commitment to a change in behavior, forcing themselves to communicate, if they're not doing any of that and they just want to hop back into the relationship, just a warning, you're setting yourself up for another heartbreak because those same insecurities, those same attachment wounds, those same issues are still simmering below the surface. And it's inevitable that something in the relationship will trigger them again, and you're setting yourself up to get discarded all over again. Things like emotional intimacy are naturally going to build. There's going to be disagreements. Those are very triggering to them. You're going to have your expectations, also very triggering to them. You're going to look for more commitment, very triggering to them. You're setting yourself up for disaster. On the flip side, if they are taking accountability and they do have an action plan on how to become more secure and repair the relationship in a healthy way, then by all means, it may be worth giving this person another chance. But that's certainly up for you to decide. And the smartest thing you can do if you do decide to give them another chance is to hold your boundaries with them, your limits of what you want, don't want, what you need, don't need, what you'll tolerate, not tolerate, and what you expect and don't expect. Hold their feet to the fire. If they are promising you the world but not delivering, it's an opportunity for you to hold boundaries and say, this isn't working for me, this is what I need. And that may result in the relationship ending, but at least you will be standing up for yourself. You'll be telling yourself the message that your feelings matter, your wants matter, your needs matter. And you'll be saving yourself time and energy that you would be investing into a person that's not investing it into you. And you'll be free to meet a person that is emotionally available, that is willing to respect your needs and wants because they care about you. It isn't just a what's in it for me type person. Now, one of the core components of emotional availability is the ability and willingness to empathize with your partner, to care about their wants, needs, and feelings, and to feel their feelings along with them. An unhealed avoidant, especially a severe one, is generally not able to do that. That's why they're emotionally unavailable. So if this person's not working on themselves and they showed all that kind of behavior, they abruptly discarded you, they avoid, they shut down, this is an emotionally unavailable person. And if you're looking for a deep emotional connection, you're not going to get it from them. But what you are going to get is a one-sided relationship where you're walking on eggshells trying to cater to them to avoid triggering them to prevent them from leaving the relationship. That's a recipe for anxious attachment. Take care of yourself, hold boundaries, respect your worth.